Give me just another minute. I'm running a little bit behind. I saw there was a bunch of people there already waiting for me. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to head over there and I'm going to see. Okay, I think, give me one more second. It was quite a busy day today. It's just, I didn't even know if I was going to make it here in time. I was actually all over the place today. I probably did over, I'm going to say at least 300 miles. Probably about 250 actually, not 300. Okay. All right. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and spending some of your Sunday evening here with me. I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about tonight, but I did have one suggestion from one of my subscribers. But we will talk about that. But other than that, I've just been so busy running around. I just haven't had a chance to really, think things through because I've just been really crazy. A lot of people know what's going on. It's just been all over the place. I was actually all the way up North Jersey early this morning, and then back down. A bunch of stuff I had to do up there, and then back down to South Jersey where I am right now. So I think Lon was the first one in tonight. Lon, good to see you. I hope everything is well. And Lon, I will try to give you a call. It's just been really hectic, but I will try to give you a call so we can catch up a little bit. Yep. Okay. My buddy Nat has it right. Pizza and the honey barbecue wings. And somebody else said beer up there as well. Lon, thank you very much. I appreciate it. My dogs are here someplace. I got one of them down here under my desk. The other one, I'm not sure where she is. She's around someplace. She usually hides behind my chair, but she's not there tonight. I had Mexican food, really good. Yeah. The spicier, the better for me, Lon. The same thing. I like it when it's hot and spicy. Karina, hi. Good to see you. I hope all is well. And a high five to you, too. Joe, good to see you as well. My buddy McGee, 63. I was in Jersey City today, actually. Not far from you. Actually, not far at all, only a few blocks away from you. And as soon as I get caught up, we all going to get together. And I promised a couple of my friends here we're going to have a couple of beers, and we will definitely do that. It's just been a little bit hectic right now, as you know, or as you can imagine. If I don't see my buddy Joe in here tonight, I'm going to text him because I actually was right around the corner from his house today. I was going to stop in and say hello. You know what, Mickey 63, you're right. I was walking my dogs. I actually took them as soon as I got home. I took them for a walk first while Mrs. Jimthecarguy cooked dinner. So, yep, they were out there. They walked. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so calm and they wouldn't be so quiet over here. If they didn't go for their walk, they'd be hounding me like crazy. Because my other dog coming in now, and I know what they're looking for. They're looking for a. I'm not going to say it. I got to spell it because they already know what the word means. They're always looking for a COOKIE all the time. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Better late than never. Thank you. Everyone jump on Joe if he shows up. That's true. If Joe shows up, you guys, you hop on him. He hasn't been here in 2 weeks. Actually, I did see him 2 weeks ago. I had to do something around the corner from his house, so I actually stopped by to see him on a Sunday afternoon before I came here and came on. Wow. My buddy McGee 63 says I have a face made for radio. All right, let's see what else we got going here. Lon, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Lon. Okay. John A. Clark, I see you're in here as well. We got my regulars in here. Okay. Yep, we definitely will. Now, McGee 63, do I have your phone number? I don't remember. I think I asked you once before, but you know what? While you're here, hang on 1 second. I'm just going to go back and I'm going to take a look right now on my documents just to see if I do have it in there. Give me 1 second. We're going to check right now. No, you know what? I don't have a phone number.
Look out the air pressure.
I do.
Fires.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Let me just close this out for a second. Gonna open that up. It's hard to believe so much you got to do on the computers nowadays, right? Okay, yeah, we got to get Joe if he shows up today. Okay. Okay, we do have a couple things going on tonight we're going to talk about. I did get a couple of things come in the mail over this past week. I actually got a couple of things. I will put them down in the description down below, but I haven't done it yet because I just opened the boxes up about maybe yesterday or something like that, and I just haven't had a chance to get on the computer to actually, put down the the links to the sites. But there's a couple of things that people sent to me, and well, you know what? No time like the present. Let me just show you what they are. This one, I'm a little bit. I am going to actually check this one out myself. I am going to. This stuff here. It's actually supposedly. It supposedly is to be used if you have threads that are actually damaged or rusted or in extremely poor condition. This stuff is supposed to be able to rebuild the threads on it. It's also supposed to make them come apart a little bit easier, but we will see about that. I'm going to try it out and see. I do have a video that I'm going to be actually doing very soon. There's going to be a stabilizer link on a 2008 Honda, so I will use it on that one, and we're going to see how it works out. But this is the product itself. It comes from a company. I will, like I said, I will put a link. I will put a link in the description down below. But this is the company right here. It's called Encore. That's the company right there. All right, so I will put a link down below so you can see what that product actually looks like or how it works. Sorry about the noise. Oh, that's pretty interesting. It's called Spin-Off, and it's supposed to be thread rebuilding penetrant. That's it. It looks like they sent me a bolt that was all beat to death already. So I'm curious. We'll see how this one actually works. We're gonna have to check this out and see how it works. Like I said, I will put a link down in the description. You know what? I think I'm going to do this. I think I might even do a video just on the use of this product on possibly on a stabilizer link or whatever else I can use it on earlier. But we'll see. All right. So stay tuned for another video with the. Stay tuned for another video with that product in use. We'll see how it actually works out, and how good it actually is. Give me 1 second. I just want to try something here. Okay. All right. That was the one thing. Now, this time of the year, this is something that was sent to me by another company. I will put a link down below. But you remember going back, I'm going to say about a month ago, I did a video on a company called Auto Wit. And remember, it was a booster pack that actually is not even. You don't have to have it charged up. You put it in the trunk of your car. It uses super capacitor technology to actually get the car to start. Well, the same company sent me this product right here. And what this is, it's a cordless digital tire inflator. I didn't even open up the package yet. The only thing I did do is I took it out of the box that it came in just to get the tag off of it so I could see. So I wouldn't forget who was sent to me by, but it doesn't matter because the name is right here on the box anyway. All right, but this is the product here. This time of the year, this is what I want to tell you. This time of the year, when the temperature starts to go down in the summertime, it's 80, 90 degrees, whatever it is. The summer is over, the fall is coming, the temperature starts to drop. For every 10 degrees that the air temperature goes down, you lose 1 pound of pressure on your tires. So it is normal for this time of the year when the temperature drops down, 30 or 40 degrees from that 80 or 90 where it was. It is normal for the tire pressure to drop down, and then all of a sudden you're going to get in your car, you're going to go to drive it, and your tire light, the TPMS, is going to light up on the dashboard, tire pressure monitoring system. What it's basically doing is telling you that the tire pressure is lower than it's supposed to be, and it needs to be inflated to bring the pressure back up to a regular the regular pressure it's supposed to be. If you open up the door of your car, I'm going to say 99% of the cars out there today, on the door itself, there's a little tag on there. It'll tell you what the tire pressure should actually be. But this one here, this is the packaging that it actually comes in. It comes in a little bit of a carrying case here. This is pretty good because you could throw it in the trunk of your car, and as long as you have it charged up, you should be in good shape. So I am not going to open this up and go through all the little details about it, but I'll when I do have to inflate the tire because the tire pressure light is on, I will use this unit here, and you will actually get to see the unit in action and see how it works. What's good about this, you throw it in the trunk of your car, and as long as it's inflated, it should be able to inflate your tire. Let's check it out and see. This is the unit itself. All right, so we're going to leave it in here. That's our hose that actually connects onto it. This is the unit. This is the hose that would connect onto here. And it looks like it's just a push and locks it in place. And then this piece here would screw onto your tire valve itself, and then you would inflate the tire. It does come with 2 batteries, it looks like. I don't know if they're charged up right now. Let's put it in, and let's see. Nope, they're dead. Okay, so we will charge up the batteries, and like I said, I will do a video so that you can actually see how this unit actually works. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to put this back in here. This is it does come, like I said, it comes with a second battery as well. And of course, it's going to come with your adapter to charge it up. All right, so that's pretty much it. I will do a video in the near future with it, actually showing you the unit itself being used. But that's it. And the best thing is with this one here, it's all self-contained. You don't have to worry about losing pieces for it. So, all right, so we'll do another video on that, and I will put a description on that one as well when I do the video. This one is something it's actually come to me. I didn't even open up the packaging. It's a, thank you very much. This is it's a digital battery voltage tester, and this is for testing. Let me just see here. It's for testing your charging, so analyzing battery, analyze battery, application range from 12 volt. Is 12 volt, continuous backlit, test is 12 volt power from the battery. So it looks like you can actually put this onto the battery itself and then probably select the CCA, the cold cranking amps, and you would actually test it. I will do this. I will do a video on this one probably too when I have a chance. I'll show you this unit and how it actually works. But I will have to take it out of here. I've never used a inexpensive piece like that before. Mine at the shop, is a lot more involved. I have the snap-on, and I also have the other handheld unit too for doing the CCA cold cranking amps. So all right, but I will do a video on that one as well, and we'll see how that actually works. So so far we got 3 things there that I'm actually going to do another video on when I have a chance. I'll do separate videos and I'll put links down on the bottom. Now this one somebody sent it to me here. I will have to look this up because I don't have any kind of paperwork with it. I'm sure it's going to be on my computer on an email that somebody has sent to me. But this is supposed to be a under-the-counter light that mounts. Give me 1 second. Supposedly this goes up under the under a workbench or someplace like that, and it's for lighting up your workspace. It actually attaches 2 different ways. You can put screws in here, and you could put it up and slide it into these pieces here, or it's got a sticky back on it. You can peel this away, and you can actually stick this onto the counter. It feels pretty solid. It's not cheap. It does feel fairly heavy. It's not cheap plastic. I don't know. It's probably dead, but it comes with a remote like this too, so that you can actually turn the lights on. You know, maybe I might even do a video on this one too. So it looks like all 4 of these we're going to do follow-up videos on. I probably at home, I'm going to put this on my workbench at home, and we'll see how this light actually works. At work, I don't need it because at work I have plenty of lighting down there. But like I said, I will set this up at home, and once I get this set up at my garage at home, I'll do a video on this too to see how bright this is. It's supposed to be LED, so we'll see how bright it actually is and how it illuminates the area. All right. So this we're going to put on the side as well. So we got 4 things that came in today, or this week, I should say, and 4 of them I will be doing follow-up videos, and it does give you the screws, of course, to mount this up underneath the bottom there. I just saw something. Joe is finally here. There he is. There he is. Hello, Joseph. We were looking for you. Actually, we were talking bad about you. No, not really. I was just saying that I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Hope everything is well. I was telling everybody I was down in your neck of the woods today too. I just didn't have a chance to stop by and say hello. But we got a bunch of pretty good items here that we got from different companies. I will put links. I'm sorry, it's just my obsessive compulsive nature. I got to close the box and fold it up before I can put it away. I will do probably videos, follow-up videos on most likely all 4 of these so that we can actually see how they work. So that's it. All right. So that's it for today with the stuff that was sent to me. But I'll do some videos on them, and when I do the videos, I will put in the description down below so that you guys can see what the units actually work and how they actually work. All right. Okay. What we got going on here? Been busy, guys. That's okay. I was going to come knocking on your door, Joe. I know where you live. Okay. Oh, you did find them a home, Joe. Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Couple things we're going to talk about. I guess that everybody has heard that the price of gas is going to be going up again. Well, let me rephrase that. In New Jersey, the price of gas is going to be going up. I heard that there was some kind of a road tax that they actually that they raised the road tax on gasoline now. So we are looking forward to another increase. But I remember when I first started in the gas, I didn't even know how much taxes is on gas anymore. But every time you turn around, they keep on raising the road tax and raising the road tax, but yet the roads never get any better. Like I said, I drove today from North Jersey to South Jersey. The roads were absolutely horrible, especially the roads leading when I go from Jersey City, because I was in Jersey City today, Jersey City into Bayonne, and I go a back way to get to the Bayonne from Jersey City. I don't go on the main roads. And when I go along the back roads, the potholes there are so bad that you feel like the front end of your car is gonna fall out. So I don't know what they're doing with all that road tax money, but they're sure as heck not fixing the potholes and everything else that they have out there. When I first opened up my gas station, I think I was paying, or I was selling gasoline back then. Now this is back in the, wait a second. My buddy Ness says 41.76 when the new increase happens. Is that what the road tax is? 41.76 with the new increase. That's crazy. So for every gallon of gas sold in New Jersey, almost 42 cents of it goes to road repairs and such as that. And anybody who drives the roads here in New Jersey, you know that they're not putting that money into the roads. I don't know what they're doing with it, but they're not doing the repairs on the roads to where they should be. But when I had my gas station years ago, back in the probably mid 70s, I bought the gas station in 76. When I bought the gas station back then, I used to sell gasoline for less than the tax. Tax now is almost 42 cents. Back then, I was only selling gas for 26 cents a gallon. So back in those days, if you needed a little bit of gas, you pull into a gas station. It wasn't entirely impossible that you'd give the guy $1 or $2 and practically fill your tank up, or at least have enough to get around, pretty decent. Now my one dog is down here. My other dog is circling over that way, just keep on looking to see what's going on. Yeah, she's confused. She's wondering what the heck is going on here. Wyatt, good to see you. I hope all is well. 279 at Shell, 87. Yeah, I think that the average price you see out there now is about, the lowest I've seen is like 268 or something like that. And that was just recently, I think it was yesterday. And then you see other places, like you go into North Jersey, up into the, like the North Jersey area, and in some places you're almost $3 a gallon, if not more. So the price does vary quite a bit. But back in those days, 26 cents a gallon, you can go a long way with a gallon of gas. You didn't have to worry about spending like you do today. You pull into a gas station to fill up, and if you're driving an SUV, you're probably looking at spending a minimum of $50 just to fill it up. So that's getting crazy. This is one of my subscribers, and I'm going to see if I can find out who it was. Give me just 1 second. I want to go back and I want to see who it was that had the suggestion. They suggested that we talk about. Give me 1 second. I'm looking. Okay, well, I'm not going to devote a lot of time to searching, but anyhow, one of my subscribers, they had an idea of what to talk about. They thought that it would be a good idea to talk about. They have a receipt for buying gas in 1971, 19 cents a gallon. Yeah, I believe that. I believe it. Back then it was dirt cheap. Even when I used to fill up my when the average person pulls into a gas station, you're getting maybe $20, 25 gallons of gasoline. But you got to remember, when anybody who owns a gas station, you didn't order, a small quantity of gas. When you placed an order for gasoline, it was 8,850 gallons. So 8,850 times the, back then they were selling it for 19 cents a gallon. So you can do the math. It was fairly inexpensive. Or back in those days, it was still a lot of money, but it's still inexpensive as compared to today. Today, you're talking about, you're buying gas and they're probably paying, $2.50, $2.60 a gallon. We're going to do the math real quick. Let's see what that comes out to. But I know it's not going to be cheap. Thankfully, I don't own a gas station anymore. At $2.60 a gallon times 88,500, it's like 88,500 times. It's like $23,000 whenever these people get a delivery of gas at a gas station at $23,000. And back when I was starting, it was probably costing me $2,000, something like that, if that. you know. But so well, you know, whenever you see the price of gas go up, and you're going to complain that the price went up because you know you're paying 4 or 5 cents a gallon more, 4 or 5 cents. You got maybe a 10 gallon fill up, so you're looking at what, 40 cents. Imagine the guy who owns the gas station when his price goes up. You know, it's considerable. You know, they go up. We're just going to do the numbers real quick here. You know, a gas station, the price of gas goes up, and you know, to the regular end line consumer, you know, driving the vehicle, you're paying maybe 40 cents, 50 cents. But if you own the gas station, you're probably looking at $300-400 for a delivery of fuel that has gone up. So it's really expensive. And believe me, when I had my gas station, I was in the gas station business for 17 years. I was probably 17 years of heck, because back in those days, and a lot of people won't believe it, and I'm sure a lot of my subscribers here are not going to believe it either, but we used to work on what was called a pool margin. And a pool margin back then is you used to sell your product, and there was a whole formula to figure out how much you made per gallon. But basically what it was, on your regular, you would make less than a penny on the regular gasoline. On the high test, you'd make probably 10 cents, and you'd average it out by the percentage of product that you sold, and you will come up with what's called a pool margin. So back then, we would go to, an average of maybe on the pool margin. Now I'm talking about the pool margin on the product that you sold for the day. You maybe 3 or 4 cents you would make per gallon. You'd make less, of course, on the regular. You make more on the premium, but the average would usually come out where it would be, a couple of pennies per gallon. So owning a gas station is a horrible way to the problem you have with a gas station, or the problem I have with a gas station. When you bought a gas station back then, you rented it from the company, and the company pretty much had control over you. You had to buy the gas, you had to buy the oil, you had to buy the tires, the batteries, the wipers, the thermostats, the starters, the alternators. Everything came from the company. Could they force you to do it back in the 70s? Yes, they could force you to do it. If you didn't do certain things or buy a certain amount of products from them, they made things very difficult for you, and you wouldn't get the repairs on your station that other places would. So it was a big game that they used to play with you. When I got out of the gas station, it was like being practically reborn again, because when I had the gas station, we used to be open from 6 in the morning until 12 o'clock at night. So you had to be, in our contract, it said you had to be open 18 hours a day. If you closed 1 hour early, 3 days in a row, 3 consecutive days in a row, you violated your contract, and the company could come in and padlock your door and throw you out because you violated your contract. So working for these big oil companies was not the most pleasant experience in the world. During those 17 years that I was there, I got robbed 13 times. That was just the actual robberies where they actually broke in and stole the money. That doesn't count the employee theft. Employee theft was a real big problem, because they were stealing the money from you, but yet there was nothing you could legally do. It was against the law to take the money out of their paycheck. If the money was short or whatever, you could fire them, but there was no way for you to recuperate that lost money. I remember two things I'm going to tell you about. One of them, I remember one time there was a guy who worked for me, and I had commercial accounts, and these thank you, Andy Martin, I appreciate it. Let's see what you say. Thank you, Jimthecarguy, for that. Oh, no problem. I'm glad it worked out okay for you. And that is why I was actually Andy Martin that's why I was actually talking about this right here, the tire pressure. Because tire pressure is real important, as Andy Martin found out. The tire light came on, and it was just a simple thing as just filling up the tire to the proper amount of psi. So, but that's why it was good with the tire pressure thing. But thank you, Andy Martin. All right, I'm going to go back to that in a second. Hawaii gas is like $4 a gallon for regular. Yeah, I believe that. because all of the gasoline, anything that's there, has to be imported from the mainland. They don't have probably don't have refineries on the island itself. Okay, let me just see what's going on here. Then we're going to go back to what we were doing. Let's see. Joe, good to see you in here as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, what happened is this guy was working for me, and I used to do commercial accounts, and the commercial accounts were big box trucks. Those box trucks used to have two gas tanks on them. You had one on the left side and one on the right side. My guys that worked for me, I never trusted them because they were always trying to screw you out of money all the time. But what happened is I'm standing in my office and I'm looking right out the window, and I see the truck pull in and gas up. And as the truck pulls in and gasses up, I see the guy back up because he couldn't go forward because it was a very high box truck. He backs up and he pulls away. So I know one gas tank was filled up. I go back into the box that had the receipt in it. I look at that, and my guy wrote down that he actually filled up both tanks. So I called the guy inside. I had a discussion with him. I called the company up that this guy worked for, because like I said, it was a commercial account. They were in by me every day. So I called the company, the guy who owns the company. He comes over and we talked about it, what happened. Long story short, after getting the two of them together and talking about it, what they were doing is actually they would pull into the gas station and he would fill up one tank and then he would pull away. And my guy would write it down for two tanks filled up, and the two of them would split the money. So what do? You fire the guy, right? You get rid of him. So I fire the guy. I get rid of him, and it was actually a very. I'm calm now, but at the time I was very very angry because I don't like somebody playing games, especially screwing me and screwing one of my commercial accounts as well. So I got rid of him. I fired him. All of a sudden, a little while goes by. I get a thing in the mail. The guy's trying to collect unemployment from me. So I get the notice. I fill it out, and they said this guy's not going to collect unemployment from me. I said it's not going to happen. So I go and I wanted to have a hearing. So I go there for the hearing. I was there, and this guy was here, and he admitted, yeah, he said I was stealing money, and whatever it was, I don't recall exactly, but he was stealing the money. And the worst part is, he actually got the unemployment. They gave him the unemployment. And they said, that he was able to collect for whatever the maximum period of time was. So I said to the person in charge of the unemployment interview at that point, they said, no. I said, not only are you encouraging people like this to steal money and do things illegally, but then you reward the guy for doing something illegal. And I said that at that point, I was just fed up with it. And he wound up collecting unemployment from me for the entire period of time, whatever the period of time was they were allowed to collect it for. But so here it is, you fire somebody for stealing from you, and then the state of New Jersey goes and rewards the guy and lets him collect unemployment from you to boot. So, but that's only one. There's a lot of other stories I could tell you about stuff like that because after being in the business for 17 years, I went through a lot of different guys over the years. I'll tell you this. This is a good one too. I probably told you this already. I've had working for me. I've had white people. I've had black people. I've had Chinese people. I've had people from South America. Every place in the country, in the world, that at one point or another they worked for me, and I had a problem with them. So to me, it doesn't matter what nationality you are or anything. It's just young people in general sometimes are just not trustworthy. But I remember one time I had this one guy working for me, and now my cat came out to say hello too. Yeah, she's over here rubbing her head around too, wondering what's going on. My dogs are gone, so she now came into the area. But yeah, it's just horrible how they rewarded this guy. But I have a lot of other guys work for me over the years, and let me just think of one story I can tell you that's really not too bad. I'm going to tell you, I've had a policeman's son work for me. I've had, I mean, maybe I told you the story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'll tell you the story again. Now, this is back in the 70s, and it was a little bit different back in the 70s. I've had a policeman's son work for me. I've had a preacher's son work for me. I've had just about every whatever you could think of, I had them working for me over the years, and most of the time it was a problem. Not all the time, but most of the time was a problem with whoever it was. But one time in particular, I had a guy working for me, right, and this was a preacher's son. This is right after I had the policeman's son that worked for me, that robbed me, and but I figured, who else can I try? I figured, well, a preacher's son, how bad can he be, right? You would think. So the guy's working for me, and I remember it was a Sunday. And Sundays was the day that I didn't go to the shop. I opened the shop up in the morning at 8 o'clock, or 6 o'clock it was open. I left there by 8 o'clock. I left and I took the rest of the day off, and I didn't go back until that Monday morning. So that was my day off, one day a week. So I come in on the Monday morning and I look and pulled it. Now the safe was it was a safe that was actually probably, I'm going to say 4 inches solid steel with 2 locks on it and everything. So it was virtually impossible to break into it. And it was down inside the ground too. I come in the morning, I open up the safe, I lift the lid off, I look down inside, there's nothing in the safe. It's empty, there's nothing in there. So my AM shift and my PM shift is gone. Now the preacher's kid worked for me for the afternoon into evening. And I had another guy work for me in the daytime. Well, now, logically, you're thinking to yourself, well, somebody obviously took the money out. It just didn't disappear. I knew it couldn't be my AM guy, because my AM guy, he would have thrown his money in the safe. I mean, if he had stolen the money, the AM guy's money would not have been in there, but the PM guy's money would have been in there. So I knew it had to be the PM guy that stole the money. So I go to the guy's house, and the kid's house, actually. I go there and I'm knocking on the door and I want to talk to him. Nothing. He don't come to the door. He don't answer the door and nothing like that. Now I will go back a little bit. I had called the police and I had talked to them about it and told them what was going on. And they said, give them a call and see what you could do to get the money back before it goes through court. Because if it goes through the whole court system, chances are you're never going to see any money back from that. So I said, I'll give it a shot. So I call up the guy's house. He don't answer the phone. I go to his house. I knock on the door. He don't answer the door. The phone, don't answer the door. No, nothing. So we're over there. We're banging and banging and banging. Finally, the guy who worked for me comes to the door. He comes to the door. He opens up the door. I said to him, I forgot exactly what I said, but I wasn't very pleasant about it because basically he just screwed me. And I'm not saying screwed, it starts with an F, and, I wasn't real happy about it. So I says to the kid, I said, you just effed me out of all of my money. I said, well, before I call the police and have you arrested for stealing, I'm going to give you the opportunity to just give me the money back. You're fired, of course, and that's it. So he says to me, give me a second. He said, let me just go in and talk to my mother and my father, and I'll tell them what happened. And I'll see what I can do, because I don't have the money. I spent it. I don't know how you can spend that kind of money, but that's what he said. So a couple of minutes goes by. He comes back out. He says to me, my mother's so upset. My father is so upset. He said they're crying hysterically in there. They actually, please don't call the police, that they want to pay you the money that I stole. I said, listen, I don't care what. I said, just give me my money. You're out of a job. And that's it. I'm going to walk out of here and you'll never see me again. He comes back out, goes in and talks to his mother and father, comes back out. He says to me, my mother and father want to give you a personal check to pay for the money that I stole. So I said, well, all right, well, let me have the check and I'll see. So I take the check. I take the check to the bank. I deposit the check. And back then it wasn't like today, where today you deposit a check and inside of very, very short period of time, if the check is good or no good, So put the check in the bank. A little while goes by. I get the paper in the mail. I opened it up. Sure enough, the check had bounced. I look on the reason for why it bounced, and it says the account was closed. So I go back up to the kid's house there, and I'm knocking on his door. He don't answer the door, but the father does. So I'm talking to the father, and I said, listen, your son stole the money from me. And I said, your check that you gave me this check from a bad account. He looks at the thing. He says to me, he said, this checking account, it was stolen. My checks were stolen. He says, I closed that account because my checkbook was stolen. Long story short, after we worked out the details, the problem was his own son stole his checks, and he was writing checks from his father and mother's bank account to pay for whatever he wanted to buy. So the father and the mother, they were really good people, and they did take care of the bill, of course, and they squared it up with me. And of course, his son was then history. So, but that was only one of them. There's just so many of them. Let me just see what other one I can tell you. There's one that's just extremely confusing. I had a guy working for me, and he comes in, and now back then, if you had somebody who was working for you and they didn't live in the United States, you had to get their green card, and you had to fill out all the documentation and everything. I had a guy come in to me. Long story short, I'm going to condense this version because it's extremely long. I get the green card, and I get all the information down. The guy working for me for a while, he steals the money and he disappears. Call him, go to his house, and he lived real close to where this other guy lived too. And it was not in the nicest part of Jersey City. It was right in the hood, pretty much where it was. And go to the kid's house and knock on his door, nothing. So I said, I'm not playing around. This guy is a young punk. So I went down and I filed everything in court to take him into court. Long story short, now I'm talking about going to court probably 3 times before they finally couldn't get him. He disappears. They put a warrant out for his arrest. A little while goes by. One of my guys calls me up in the middle of the night, and he says to me, hey, Jim, he says, you know the guy that you're looking for? I said, yeah. He said, he's sitting right here in the diner. He says, I'm looking right at him. I said, you sure it's him? He said, I'm absolutely positive. So at that, and back then, on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, they used to have a policeman in the diners because it was in such a bad area. So I said, well, go up and tell the policeman that the guy's got a warrant for his arrest for stealing, and, we'll see. So I called up the police station a little while later. I'm talking to them there, and it's like, yep, he's here, he's in jail, and you come down tomorrow morning and fill out the paperwork. I go down there the next day. I walk in. I said, I'm here to fill out the paperwork to, for this guy that stole my money. And they said, yeah, we had to let him go. So why would you let the guy go? I said, that's crazy. Why would you let him go? He stole my money. How can you possibly let him go? What happened is the green card that he gave me was actually in somebody else's name. That wasn't the guy's name who was actually working for me. He had used somebody else's green card, and that's how he. I can't tell you what the name of the person was, but the warrant for his arrest was made out for this fictitious person, not for the guy what his real name was. So we had to go through the whole procedure all over again to try to catch up with him again. And by then, it's like 6 months down the road, and he was long gone and never got that money back. But that's only just a couple of them. There's a lot of others that went along with that too. A lot of hood in Jersey City. McGee 63. I was actually just telling Mrs. Jimthecarguy this. When I was driving through Jersey City today, I cannot believe the amount of building going on in Jersey City. Now, you probably know where this is. It's actually on Baldwin Avenue and Academy Street. Baldwin and Academy. There's I knew a guy who used to have a gas station over there. It was a very small, little one-bay garage. I drove past there today, and as I'm driving past, I look up and there's a crane there, and they're putting up the steel work for like a I don't even know what's going to be going in over there, but they have that area where that little gas station was. They're building some kind of a thing around and all the way up in the back where it used to be some kind of a macaroni company. I'm thinking, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a big commercial property. It used to be like a macaroni company or something like that. They knocked that down. That whole thing is gone. And they got to put up some kind of a big, probably a high rise there, judging by the amount of the footings that they were putting in over there. But I was surprised. And you probably realize, most of you don't know, but my buddy McGee 63 knows. He knows that this area, when the sun goes down, you better not be there, because when the sun goes down in that area, that's a real, real bad area. But that's what they're doing over there. Construction everywhere in that area. Matter of fact, this area was so bad that when I was, now somebody's probably saying, well, how bad was it? But it was so bad back in the day that when you used to go along Baldwin Avenue and then turn west and go down Academy Street towards the water, as you went down, you used to go down past the railroad tracks. They used to have actually what they call like tent cities down there, where all the homeless used to live down in like cardboard boxes and structures that they made down in there. And now that whole area down there, they're all putting up these tremendous high-rise buildings. It's just crazy seeing what's going on down there. But that's it. That's some of my stories about the problems I had with the gas station. There's a lot more that's going on with that. Let me just see. I'm going to go back. I'm going to see what's going on here. I saw my buddy Joe was in here. Thanks for answering the email. Oh, no problem, no problem. I try to get to whenever I can, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult. Costco, my buddy Nat says, I gas up at Costco. It seems like Costco is always one of the least expensive places to get gas nowadays, at least down by me. I'll ride past there, and I'll bet you any given time you'll have 8 or 10 cars in there all lined up, ready to gas up. I would have sprayed them with gasoline and set them on fire. Well, you know what? McGee 63, I'm going to tell you this now. You just jarred a memory for me. When I was a kid, I used to work on Thorn Street and Kennedy Boulevard. My buddy McGee 63, you know exactly where that is. There used to be a place over there called the Plankboard Inn, which doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. But I used to work on a place on 53rd and Kennedy. And this was during the first gas crisis, when I worked for a guy. But I was in the shop working, and one of my guys that worked outside, or worked for this guy that I worked for, he actually did that. He had gotten into an argument with a guy out there, and he actually took the gas pump off and he lit his cigarette lighter. The guy was giving him threatening him. He actually flicked his cigarette lighter on, and he had the gas thing in his hand. And he said to the guy, "If you don't get the F out of here," he says, "I'm going to burn you and your car." So, see that? McGee 63, you bring that up and you see it just popped in a memory for me. Needless to say, the guy got fired because you can't threaten to burn somebody like that. Joe's Auto says, Jimthecarguy, just a heads up, stay away from BP on 52nd Street. Had a couple of cars in for water in the tank recently. Oh, no kidding. I passed there today, Joe. I passed there today. You know what? That actually, the guy in the gas station is not doing his job, because when I had my gas station, according to the contract I had with Exxon, I had to stick my gas tanks every day to make sure there was no water in the tank. Water in the tank is actually, you think it's really bad, but every gas station has a little bit of water in that gas tank. And a little bit of water is not bad, because in the gas tank, when you put a tank in the ground, depending on how the turbine goes into the top of the tank, the turbine is the pump that actually pumps the fuel up to the pump itself. What happens, that turbine doesn't go down all the way to the bottom of the tank. You'll have some tanks have a 3-inch, some have a 6-inch, where you can't pick up the fuel. That's why you need to stick the tank every day, because if you have that little 1/4 inch of water inside there, it's not a big deal, because your turbine is not going to pick it up anyway, because the suction line may be 3 inches or 6 inches above the bottom of the tank. So that little condensation is okay. But a lot of guys don't stick their tank on a regular basis, and they wind up with water inside the tank, and that will happen. Now, Joe, being that you brought this up, I'm going to bring up another thing. My gas station used to be on 53rd Street and Kennedy Boulevard. That's where my gas station was. And I'm working one day, and I look outside, and there's a car out in front of my gas station with the hood up, and he's cranking and cranking and cranking, and it wouldn't start. I don't think anything of it. I look down the street, there's another car there with the hood up, and the same thing. I look down the street, there's like 4 or 5 cars, all stuck on the side of the road with the hood up, and they won't start. What happened is there was a gas station probably about 4 blocks away from me, and the guy had a leaky storage tank, and water got into it, and he was pumping out water into these tanks of the cars. And of course, the water would go into the gas tank, but you would burn out. Back in those days, we used to have a fuel pump and a carburetor. So you would burn out the fuel in the carburetor before the water would pump into it, and then the car would stall out. But that happened, I think that, and Joe, you'll know where this place is because they just put a high rise. They knocked the gas station down. They put up a high rise building right across from the park. But that was what happened over there. They had all this water inside the tank, and all those cars got stuck. I will say that the oil company that owned the place, they were good about it, and they did take care of it. All right, but thanks for the heads up, Joe. Let's see. That gas station was recently rebuilt. Yeah, it was probably about, I'm going to say about 10, no, maybe more than that. They used to be, when I was up on 53rd and Kennedy, that gas station used to be an old Gulf station. What they did is they knocked it down and they put this place in here and they put up, I think it's like a convenience, like a gas and go in there right now. It's a convenience store. You can also get your, you can also get stuff to eat and drink too. And it shows what happened to me as well. Oh, did that happen to you too, Joe? Yeah, the guy who rents that shop, he's not the most pleasant guy. He's actually a real backyard type mechanic. That guy over there. And now, you know what? I'm thinking it wasn't the guy who's in there now, Joe. It was somebody else who was in there. What happened is one of my customers, now my place is not a gas station, but I had one of my customers come into me and she says to me, I pulled into that gas station down there and the guy told me I needed power steering fluid in my car, and he put power steering fluid in, and then he gave me the bottle that he didn't use, and he said, hold on to it for the next time you need it. And when the lady got the bottle, she looked at it, and it wasn't power steering fluid, it's actually brake fluid. They put brake fluid in the power steering fluid. And what I remember was a Grand Am, and they wound up destroying. They put the brake fluid into the power steering fluid, which is no good, because when you put brake fluid into the power steering, it swells up all the seals and you wind up with problems. So what they did is they actually told her they were going to flush it out and it would be fine. But like not even a couple of months later, it was leaking all over the place, and then they would not even fix it for her. They refused to do it because they said it wasn't their problem. They're supposed to have a water filter in the pump. They're supposed to have a pump in there, but you know what? A lot of guys, I don't even know how it is today, but back when I had my place, you used to have to change the filters, and those filters actually, they didn't filter water. They were actually particle filters. It looked just like a regular Ford filter. It was like the V1. You remember the V1s they had? It was a fairly large filter, and it used to screw on there and would filter out all of the small little particles inside there. But they didn't have a water filter back in those days. I'm not sure about today, but back in those days they didn't. I gassed up there. Truck wouldn't start. Hold it. Oh, that happened to you, Joe. Wow. Grabbed car plane and sprayed it and started. Towed it back to my shop. Tank was full of water. Wow. You know what you got to do, Joe? Don't even talk to the guy who owns that gas station. Don't talk to him. Go right to the company. Go right to the company yourself. You know what company it is. Actually, you know what? Somebody already said it, BP. Go directly to BP. Yeah, go directly to BP. Joe, keep the product that you took out of your tank and go directly to BP and talk to them about it. They will make good for it because the guy in that gas station is not doing his job. It's not because that's a company-owned station, if I'm not mistaken. But you should call directly to BP and talk to them, Joe, for sure. Yeah, I know the one that McGee is talking about. He's talking about the one on the city line. That's also a BP station too, but different owners. Cool. I got confused. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they're both BP. That's what it is. Okay. Tell you the truth, Joe, whenever I'm in town, usually I stop at that station there to gas up. Either there, or I go around the corner to that other big gas station there too. I'm glad I I had more than a half a tank and didn't have to. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a road trip for sure. Okay, what else we got going on? We're going to scroll a little bit. Yeah, that place. Remember that? A lot of people actually, Joe was too young to even remember this place. It was a charcoal treat place. It used to be like a hamburger place right on the city line, 1 block back from the city line. But Joe's too young to remember that, though. He's not old enough. Okay. Um, this was a question that one of my subscribers asked me. I know I was going to talk about this earlier, but I lost track of what I was doing. One of my subscribers asked me, what is the most DIY friendly vehicle to buy today for somebody who likes to do the work themselves and doesn't want to spend a fortune on a lot of the equipment needed to. The way things are going today, you need a lot of equipment to do just about anything. Oh, beautiful. Oh, okay, good, good, good. Yeah, my wife has got my phone in the back, so I'll save the number, and then when I'm around, I'm going to give you a call. We'll go down to someplace and have a burger and a beer, something like that. But now that I got the number, beautiful. Thank you. Um, they asked me what is the most do-it-yourself friendly vehicle to have out there today. I will tell you this: just about everything that you work on today, you need a lot of really expensive equipment. It's not like years ago. Years ago, when you worked on a car, you needed a tack and dwell and a timing light, and that was it. That was really the extent. Maybe a vacuum gauge too, or a fuel pump gauge. There really wasn't a lot. But today's cars, you can't do really much of anything without a scan tool. Um, for the engine, you'll need something for the airbags. You need something for the braking system. You need something for the transmission. So your computers today have to be able to get into all of these different areas. What I would do is the ones I think are the least. Joe's gonna let me see what Joe said to me. Oh, what's a vacuum gauge? Yeah, a lot of people don't even know that, Joe. A lot of people don't. But but what you have to look for today is you have to look for cars that are relatively inexpensive to repair and not that much um, going wrong with them. Something that's dependable. Me, and I know everybody knows this. The way I like cars is my number one choice for a car is a Honda. Hondas are my number one choice. Hondas, you can there is computers needed. You would definitely need computers to do some diagnostics on it and everything else. But your chances of having a problem with it are very low as compared to some of the other vehicles out there. I'm not going to go bashing other companies, but me personally, I like Honda is number one. That's my number one choice. And I might even add that I own 2 Hondas myself, and that's what I drive. Hondas are number one. Then I like Toyotas. They're very, very dependable. I used to like the Nissans, but that now Nissan is actually pushed out of there. And now the way I like it, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai. That's the way the most dependable cars to me is in that order. And I see Joe is saying something down here. Joe M. Hyundai has been rated at the lowest 5-year cost for new cars. Yeah, because it is the cars today is that you buy a Hyundai and the Hyundai has got on a um 10-year motor and trans warranty. How can you beat that? You're not going to have any kind of real big problems with that motor. If a company has that much faith in their product, you're very rarely going to see a problem. But I will tell you this: Hyundai did have a problem with their cars, where I think it was the Sonata that had some problems with it. But what they did is they took care of it. It was not an issue with the engines would blow in it, and they would replace the engine for you. You get a loaner car, and they would take care of it for you. So even though it's a Hyundai and it's a dependable car, if you run into a problem and the company stands behind their product, that's always a good thing. I remember one time I had a customer come in to me, and it was a Honda. It was an older Honda. I think it was a CRV, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm talking about the older CRVs. And it came in and there was a misfire in the engine, and there was a shake inside the engine. I checked it out and I take a look at it, and sure enough, one of the cylinders was misfiring. So before you do anything as far as repairing anything, especially when it gets to like 100,000 miles, it's kind of early for something like that to happen. So before I do any repairs on it or whatever, I always go into the TSBs, the technical service bulletins, to find out what's going on with it. And I go in there and I look at it. I'm reading through, and it says, but this particular car, that it had a problem with this engine, and Honda was willing to consider warrantying it, even though it had almost 100,000. I think it had 105,000 miles on it, and they felt that it was too early for that engine to go. And what Honda was doing is, and my customer got the new engine, the Honda people said, you know what, we will give you the engine for free. Just pay to have the engine put in by their mechanic, and the engine was for free. And they did. They actually put the engine in the car for free because they felt that it was too early for that engine to have a problem. And it wasn't just that engine; it's whatever run of engines it was. They had a problem with them. All right. So let's go back here a little bit. I saw we up to buy a '64 Falcon. Those cars were the best. You probably heard me tell you this before, but back in those days when you had a car that didn't start, most of the time I could go out on the road and I could get the car to start. It wouldn't be a big deal. Today, you can't do it. Today, if a car breaks down, send a tow truck out because you're not going to work on it on the street to get it running anymore. But back then, I used to bring a wrench, a book of matches, and a screwdriver, and most of the time I could get that car started and drive it back to the shop. Most of the time it was either a points that closed up, or the fuel filter clogged up, or something really small like that. Okay, but not anymore. Everything has changed drastically. All right, but I think we are going to call it night. Uh-oh, that's my dogs are talking. Okay. Just going to go to propane. So guy next to us, a forklift runs a propane. All right, I think we're going to call it night here. I think it's after 8 o'clock already. So I think we are going to call it night. But anybody has any suggestions of what they want to talk about, what they'd like to talk about next week on the channel? Like my one subscriber did send me a question about what would be the most dependable vehicle, or the most easier to repair vehicle for a do-it-yourselfer. So anybody has any ideas of what to talk about? Send me an email, and I'm going to hopefully be able to see it, and we'll talk about it. A couple things, Lon, I'm going to try to give you a call during the week, I promise. And Joseph, I'm going to give you a call as well from Joe's Auto Electric. We need to catch up. And Joe, what are you up to as far as subscribers now? I've been watching you, but I haven't been by your channel in a while. So what are you up to now, Joe? You got to be real close to 1,000, right? Come on, Joe, I'm waiting for your answer. Good night, Wyatt. Good to see you. Joe, how many subscribers you got now? All right, you know what? Oh, around 900. Okay, so you're almost at 1,000, right? That's because they don't know you, Joe. That's why. Nobody loves you because they don't know you. Okay, well, everybody check out Joe. If you didn't subscribe to him, subscribe to him. And don't forget, everybody, check out my other channel. I got a home maintenance and home repair type channel I do as well. It's Get It Done Home Maintenance. So if you didn't subscribe, go on over and check out my channel. I'm going to put on some of my videos, I'll have a little link on there where you can click over and you can check out my channel and see what it's all about. But basically, it's just home type repair projects and I'm not talking about replacing a bathroom or replacing a kitchen or anything like this. Basic, simple things. You got to tint a window because the sun comes through the window. You got to change a door lock. You got to change an outlet. You may have trouble with your sprinkler. All the small things that may drive you crazy to do yourself at home. everything, even if it's hanging a picture or putting up a towel rack or whatever. If you got a hole in the sheetrock, how to properly fix a hole in the sheetrock. Check out my channel. You'll see it's a bunch of other stuff on there. If you didn't subscribe on that channel, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to check to see who of my subscribers is actually subscribed to my other channel. Hope you do. And that's it. We're going to call it night. And I just want to thank everybody for stopping by and spending your Sunday night here with me. Truthfully, when I sorry about that. Mrs. Jimthecarguy is just going out. And my two dogs are standing right here, looking right at the door, waiting for the door to open up. So I just want to thank everybody for who has stopped by and who's my loyal subscribers. And like I said, anybody has anything that they want to talk about next week, of course, send me an email. We'll try to talk about it and see. I know I saw my buddy Nat. Yes, I did see you were on there. Some people don't show up on there because they're private. I know that, but go over and check it out and see what you think. And like I said, it's going to be just basic home repairs. The reason I'm doing that is because my children, if they have to do something and dad can't be there to help them, at least they can go over and they can look on my channel to see how to go about doing it. It's very basic, very simple. And, if you have to change a light or change a light fixture or whatever, it's going to be on there. All right. So again, thanks for everybody stopping by and spending your Sunday evening here with me. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.